The best of the Morning X.
99X.
Put you in a little situation a friend of mine was in. See what you would do. Hi, what's your name?
Jamie,
Jamie?
Hey, Jamie.
All right, speak up good and loud. How old are you?
22.
Good, hang on. What's your name? Hello?
Hi, Tim,
Tim, and you are?
29.
Good, hang on. Morning X, what's your name?
Joe,
How old?
34.
34. Morning X, name, age?
Rob, 28.
Good, and Morning X, what's your name and age?
Candy, 21.
Oh, we got a good mixture here.
Very good
Wow,
mixture.
right out of the box.
Very
All
good
right.
mixture.
Okay, what's the dilemma?
Let's say you are in a store. Now, this is kind of a classic situation. You go to the store, and what do you do if the teller or the clerk, let's say, gives you too much change back?
You tell
Let's be honest.
Okay.
Let's be honest. What do? You get too much change back. Let's not say what you think we want to hear, but what do you do historically?
Do you need to ask me?
Barnes, you may not want to be in this segment. This has to do with, this is a morality
I'm
segment.
exempt from this one.
Barnes may want to sit on the bench.
Jimmy looks at me all serious. What do you do?
This has happened to me before.
Barnes is going to go to the break room for about 5 minutes.
This has happened to me before. I've
How
just
much money?
said,
Are you
know.
talking about a couple cents? Or
Whatever.
are you talking about
Doesn't matter.
$20?
A
Or?
quarter
Yeah.
or $20.
You
either
gave me
one.
too much money back. You just have to tell the person, but
It actually happened to me a couple of weeks ago at a local shopping grocery store, and I actually gave it back because I thought the clerk was so stupid that I took it back in,
Okay.
okay, let's go.
which is a rare.
Want to go to the panel?
Yeah.
appearance.
Jamie?
I'd
Turn-
give it back.
Bring the music
Doesn't
down.
matter how much it is.
Get up in that phone there.
Yeah,
okay?
Jamie, speak up good and loud.
Hey, I would give it back.
Okay. Tim?
I give it back.
Joe?
I'd give it back.
Now, guys, you don't have to say that. If,
Yeah,
if
No,
you don't
but
have to
really,
say that.
it happened to me.
All right, Rob?
Oh, I'd keep it,
You would keep it.
without a question.
And Candy?
I'd give it back.
Okay. Reservation in hell for Rob, party of one? No. Okay, no, it's honest. You're being honest. All right.
Yeah.
Now, here's the situation. You go to a store, and this is what happened to my friend. And by the way, I would give it back in a heartbeat. I mean, it's not even, to me, that's a no-brainer. You go to the store, and there's an item on the shelf that it is clearly marked that these items are $70. Okay, it's a big clay flower pot planter, those big ones. You go to check it out. They scan it, the UPC code, and apparently the UPC code is wrong, and it comes up $3
Instead of 30 or
instead
whatever.
of 70.
Instead of 70,
clearly
I'm sorry.
It is
It's-
70.
yeah.
It is, it's a big clay planter. It's obviously a $70
Huge.
item, but they scan it, $3. The clerk doesn't, bat an eyelash, but you know that it is really a $70 item.
Hey, that's employee mistake.
Okay,
The
fine.
people who are putting the information in the computer should have had that correct.
Who's
Okay,
that, Rob?
that's fine. No, there's no
Yeah, it's
question
Rob.
about that. So, all right, well,
At least
Rob.
you're consistent, Rob.
Okay, so Jamie, what do you do?
I take that pot and run.
So,
Okay.
so
She
you would
figures
take the $67
Okay,
savings.
Tim.
Yes.
All right,
Woo.
Tim.
Tim would pay him $3.
Joe.
Yeah, I'd take it and go.
All right, Rob, we know, and Candy.
$3, yep.
Okay, now, let me ask you guys this: what's the difference
Yeah,
in the
what
two
is the
scenarios?
Because one is an actual mistake.
They're
Yeah,
both
And what's the
they're honest
both?
Well, let her
mistakes.
speak.
What? Go
The
ahead.
other, they put the code into the computers. They know exactly how much it's supposed to be.
Well, no, that's obviously a mistake, though. I'm saying it's very obvious that
it doesn't matter. I mean, to me, it doesn't. I mean, money is one thing.
They were both
Wait a
human
minute.
error.
But
They're both
they're
human
only
error.
paying $3 for that pot. They're not going to miss that. But
Oh,
it's
they're not
gonna-
going to miss that. That's
when they give you
okay.
money.
Yeah, sometimes they do miss it, but it's mismarked, so they have
So-
to give it to you.
Do you figure
Okay.
they're like this big store that's made a lot of money? So
Yeah,
you
it's
know
big-
what's
it's a
67?
corporation.
What's $67?
It's a corporation. You know what? They deserve it. They deserve to not get paid the right amount. So you're saying there is a difference, even though they're both clearly employee mistakes. They are clearly both employee mistakes, right? We can
Someone
agree on that.
entered it wrong
Yeah.
in the computer, and some
Okay.
guy gave you the wrong change.
All right, let's go down.
But
Tim?
it's not the cashier's fault, though.
Well, it's still somebody's fault.
Right, but
Well, but it is the
before
cashier's
before
fault.
you were talking about somebody
no,
giving
it's-
you too much change back.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
totally different.
You know,
Why? I don't
that
understand
They're
how
sitting
they're
there
different.
handling the money, and the other one is what they're saying is the other one is somebody else. It's not the person you're dealing with one on
Well,
one.
but it's still the store.
Still the
Somebody
store,
at the
but-
store. In other words, Let's
It's
just
probably
okay.
easier to, what they're saying is probably easier to cheat someone you don't have to see than the one-on-one person that is at the cash register.
Because you're not feeling the emotion of cheating the
Yes.
pot.
Yes.
And you don't see the guy who entered it wrong, who entered the number wrong. He's
You
just
see what
off in
I'm
the back
saying?
working
Okay.
in some computer.
Do you think? Okay, Candy, we haven't heard from you.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's hear from you.
I think they're different because, like you said, them giving you too much change. Of course, you're going to give them back the change if they're giving you too much, and maybe they didn't realize that maybe there's a 20 underneath, the 5 or whatever they're supposed to be giving you back the change. You're going to feel bad taking that 20, but when they clearly marked the pot that was $70, $3, they mismarked it. That's their fault.
Well, but it's still a mistake that falls under that. If you know that they made a mistake, like if you know the cashier makes a mistake
Right.
and accidentally gives you too much money back.
Yeah, but that's going to make her
hold it.
dwarf. That's
How
going to
is-
make her dwarf off.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't it stealing in both sense in both cases?
No way.
It's dishonest.
Isn't it dishonest? Let maybe not steal. Isn't it dishonest in both cases?
But they have to give you the pot for $3 because they marked it $3.
Right. They have to
Yeah, but it's
honor that.
marked 70
Yeah, they
on
have-
the
Okay,
display,
but
but
it's obviously a mistake.
3 on the
Right.
on the code or whatever.
What'd your friend do?
That's a good question.
He ran with it.
He ran with it. He got
Yeah.
the deal.
Which is the normal reaction.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no question about it. Your reactions are probably statistically on par with.
I don't think their first answers were. I don't think 4 out of 5 people would give the money back.
I agree with you.
Well, Jimmy, what would your answer be?
I'll tell you what I would do in that situation. Because I always think how much I'm the kind of guy who tortures himself over stuff.
Oh,
so,
my God.
I would not
Yeah. Well, we know that's true.
You mean over a purchase?
over just
I've never
things
seen a
that-
guy
over
debate
things-
more about a purchase than
not
you.
about purchases, but about over a moral issue. So what I would do is I would call over a manager and tell them the truth.
You would go through all that trouble.
Well, here's where I would draw the line, because if it was a situation where I saw, because this was like a really big store, it was Home Depot.
I'd look at
Okay.
it like a bonus.
All right, if I went to a Home Depot, have you ever tried to track down the managers at some of these stores? It's really
too big.
It's very difficult. If it got to the point for me where it was just going to chew up too much time and it was going to be a huge chunk of effort, they couldn't find a manager or I had to wait in a long line, then I would just say, you know what, I've tried, nothing I can do. But my first reaction would absolutely be to find a manager and say, hey.
But you're saying you'll take it only by convenience or.
Well, I'm saying I would try to do the right thing if they're not gonna. If
you would
they're gonna
try,
make it,
just semi-try.
no,
Hey,
I would
Jimmy?
try. I would.
if you're going to do the right thing, you would track down the manager and take care of it.
Absolutely, I'm saying I would track down a manager unless I saw I was going to be there for an hour.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
All right, at this point you're talking about a large sum of money. Let's say you go to a fast food restaurant,
Right.
and they put an extra sandwich in there by mistake. And
They
you
put an
didn't
extra
order it. Now,
burger.
do you drive off, or do you actually drive back to the restaurant and give it back to them, even though it's a $2 hamburger?
Good question.
Well, I'll tell you why I would take it, because they're not going to resell that hamburger once you've and this happens all the time at drive-thrus where you're halfway to your destination and you realize although usually the problem is not that they've given you too much food, as we all know. Usually the problem is they forgot to put something in.
I just was wondering if is it the monetary value or is it the moralistic value the reason that you do that?
Is it the monetary value?
Because you're saying it's $70 knocked down to $3.
Whose
now,
phone
if
is
it was
that?
a $3 item that they gave you a $2, is that the same type thing? Is it just morals, or is it because
I just don't feel good about benefiting from somebody's mistake in those situations. Now, if it's like a burger, if it's like food, you have to think, well, if you give that, if you bring that food back, they're just going to throw it in the dumpster.
Well, see, you can't be the one that makes these calls, though.
Well,
it's either cheating or not.
They're not allowed to resell it.
No, but I'm saying if you were it's either or. I mean, you can't say, well, in this situation, it's okay to go ahead and just take it. I mean,
I'm
either
not.
they gave you too much of it. What about an ATM? What if you go to take out $100,
Right?
And there's accidentally 500 stuck together,
This
and it was
happened
a
to me.
machine
Ooh,
error,
it
I'm at the
happened.
and
mall,
it comes
baby.
out. What
I'm at the
happens
mall.
then?
Well, that happened to me, in fact.
I'll plead ignorance and
about-
put it in my wallet and say I never looked.
About
If they make that mistake, then they should have a teller that's working the machine.
That happened to me many years ago, and at the time, see, now I know that it doesn't matter because when an ATM gives you too much money, they catch the mistake eventually, and they tack it onto your
Right, they take it right out of your
statement at the end of the month.
What if it's machine error though, and the money's stuck together or something?
They still can. They can
How could
figure
they
that
tell?
stuff out.
I can do it by transaction.
Yeah, they figure
Yep.
that stuff out. That
Huh.
you can't get away with
Because
that.
if there's a stack of 20s in there and some were accidentally stuck together, how would they know that it went to
doesn't-
you?
It doesn't happen. It just. I don't know how.
It's never
but it
happened
just-
to me. I'm just
yeah,
saying
I know.
if it did.
I mean, it just doesn't happen. No, I mean, I think that what you do is you try to turn a wrong into a right. You know, unless
Some people
unless
look at
they're
it like a
fighting you on
bonus
it.
from the man.
I was just making sure I had them all right. I was going through the Ten Commandments last night. And I did see where the one said, "Thou shalt not steal," but then in parentheses it said, "Unless it's from a big store."
Unless it's from a big
Yeah,
store.
I do remember where it said that. See, to me, it's worth $50 or $60 to know that I did the right thing.
Right.
Like that to me is worth a clear conscience. What goes around comes around.
That's for sure.
The best of the Morning X.
With Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy.
99X.